I was bent forward, stretching my legs, when he came up behind me, so close, I could feel the heat from his body along my spine. His hands didn't touch me, but his presence did, in a way I wasn't ready for. I'm Maya. Welcome to Lust and Lies. This is my confession of regret. It all started as a way to escape, not from my marriage. At least, that's what I told myself, but from the silence between us. The way my husband stopped seeing me like a woman. So I joined a yoga studio. Nothing fancy, just a place with candles, mirrors, and soft music. But he was there. Adrian, the instructor with calm eyes and a voice that wrapped around your skin like silk. At first, it was nothing, just movement, breath, focus. But by the third class, he began to notice me. And worse, I started wanting him to. He corrected my poses more often than the others. Hands on my hips, fingers guiding my spine, his breath brushing the back of my neck as he whispered, "Relax, deeper." One night, during a one-on-one stretch session, he knelt behind me as I leaned into a forward fold. His hands gripped my thighs, gently but firmly. And I didn't stop him. I didn't want to. We stayed like that, frozen in something electric, for just a few seconds. But those seconds never left me. The next class, I wore tighter clothes. I told myself it was for me, but I knew it wasn't. He noticed? God, he noticed. His gaze lingered. His touch stayed longer. The air between us thickened, like heat rising before a storm. Then came the night he offered to walk me to my car. It was raining. I didn't have an umbrella. Of course, we stood under the awning as the water poured around us. He looked at me, and for once, didn't say anything yoga-related. He just looked. "I probably shouldn't," he whispered. "I know," I replied, but I didn't move. Neither did he. Then, he kissed me. It wasn't slow, it wasn't gentle, it was desperate, hungry. His hands found my waist, pulled me against him. And I didn't pull away. I pressed into him like I'd waited years for that kiss. And maybe, in some way I had. We ended up in the backseat of my car, wet clothes, shaky breaths, fingers that moved like they'd memorized every inch of me before they touched. I don't remember the drive home, just the fog on the windows, and the guilt already forming in my chest. That night, I couldn't sleep. My husband lay beside me, snoring softly. He had no idea, and I hated myself for how little that kiss made me care. But the morning light brought reality crashing down. It wasn't romantic anymore. It was messy. Shameful. Adrian sent a message. Last night was unexpected. "Are you okay?" I stared at the screen, deleted the message, deleted his number. I never went back to the studio. I told my husband I got bored of yoga. He believed me. He always does. But sometimes when I close my eyes, I still feel the way Adrian looked at me. Like I was wanted. Like I was seen. And that hurts more than the guilt. Because now, I know I crossed the line. Not just with him, but with myself. And that's something I'll carry longer than the memory of his hands. I went back the next day. I told myself I needed closure, or maybe I just needed to see if it still felt real. The studio looked the same, but it didn't feel the same. Every breath I took reminded me of the night before. Adrian saw me walk in. His face didn't change, but his eyes did. They flickered, like something caught between desire and guilt. "Hey?" he said softly, like it meant nothing, like his mouth hadn't been all over mine just hours ago. I nodded. No words. My throat was tight. My limbs were heavier than usual. We went through the motions. Downward dog. Warrior. But it wasn't the poses that hurt, it was the silence. When he walked past me, his fingers brushed mine. Just barely. But it felt like fire, and that's when I knew. If I didn't leave now, I'd do it again. At home, the sun was pouring through the kitchen window. The smell of coffee, toast, eggs, everything looked normal. Too normal? My husband sat across from me, reading the news on his tablet. He looked up once, smiled. "Sleep okay?" I nodded. My voice didn't trust itself to speak. He passed me the butter. His hand brushed mine, and my stomach twisted. He was kind, boringly kind. He loved me, and I had shattered something sacred. For what? A moment in the rain. I stared at my plate. The eggs went cold. He kept talking about some meeting at work. I nodded in the right places. But all I heard was my heartbeat, loud, ugly. That night, I lay beside him, the same man I vowed to love, to honor, to stay faithful to. He turned to me, brushed a strand of hair from my face. "Everything okay?" he whispered. I forced a smile, lied, "Yes, just tired." He kissed my forehead, rolled over, fell asleep within minutes, and I just stared at the ceiling. The silence was deafening. My body was still, but my mind kept replaying it. Adrian's hands, my own choices. The way I leaned into the wrong man when I had the right one next to me. I wanted to cry, but the tears wouldn't come. I wanted to confess, but I couldn't bear his face breaking. So I lay there, stiff, wide-eyed, counting regrets like sheep. And the worst part, a tiny voice inside me still missed that kiss. They say yoga is about alignment, but I lost all mine the moment I stopped listening to my soul and followed my body instead.